Dr.Jackie's here, changing life loving you. Yeah, that's the groove, life loving you. Feel the truth, move, life loving you. It's all we do, come on through, it's just for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Love, Life, and You. Dr. Jacquie is still in recovery from surgery, but the good news is she'll be back with us next week. We can't wait to have her back and bring you fresh conversations to help you reach your love, life, and you goals. In the meantime, today's episode is all about running with the big dogs, a powerful discussion on how the brain shapes our reality and what it truly takes to become the person you're meant to be. It's about overcoming fear, shifting your mindset, and stepping into your full potential. So sit back, take it in, and let us know what resonates with you. Here's today's episode.
Pattern disruption means that there's stimuli that follows a pattern and a sequence when it hits your brain. So what your brain will do is, since there's so much information it's processing at a time, it will wait until there's a difference in the way that that information is coming. And when it sees that there's a disruption of the familiar pattern, it will notice that. I want to go farther because I want you to really understand what I'm saying that happens with the way the brain works. Say, for example, somebody tells you, I'm just trying to think of a good example. Your brain notices when something's not consistent, and it will search for the reason why it's not consistent. You have to be careful because it's trying to fill in a blank. You need to fill in your own blanks. Don't let the amygdala fill in your blanks. So, in my mind, I figured these are powerful people. They're very crass, they're harsh, they're cutthroat. That's the narrative that I had about running with the big dogs. And I know that I'm direct. I'm a direct communicator, but I'm a lovable person. I'm loving, I love people. I don't want to be in that kind of rat race. You ask my staff, one thing I hate is being ruffled. I need to be in a calm state of mind. So in my mind, I didn't want to run with the big dogs because that's the narrative. See, fear is a set of irrational beliefs set up as reality that you believe. That's what I believed. Now, where that came from, I think was probably seeing some movies or something like that, and somehow I landed on that narrative. So I had to now shift my narrative. I had to change. Because your brain will automatically begin to fill in the how, the what, the when, and the why. So guess what happened? The needle towards my wealth moved when I said to myself, I'm no longer going to be afraid of running with the big dogs. I'm ready to run with the big dogs. I've told y'all this before. Y'all think that it's stupid, but I'm telling you how powerful it is. You must say to yourself. Do you understand? You have to say it. You can't think it. And you'll see what I'm talking about because you won't be able to say it until you're really ready. I remember one time I was flying back from LA and I was on the plane. When I first started in television, the Lord said to me, he said, Jackie, I want to put you on the big stage, but you don't want to go. And I was like, I'm not really into TV. That's not really something that I want to do. I have ideas and things like that, but that's not really something I want to do. How do I make myself want to do something that I really don't want to do? But I was going to do it. I was going to be obedient. But no, I need you to want to do it. So I had to cry almost every day until my heart changed and I wanted to do it. This is what I'm telling you is your work. You got to want to be different. You have to set a determination that I'm going to be different. And so it came up that at one day I felt it and I could actually say it and believe it. I'm on the plane, flying back. I just done a show. And, are you ready? And, our natural thing would be, yeah, I'm ready. And then all of a sudden my mind started really thinking, because remember, it's searching. Are you really ready? And then I began to realize that I still had some fear factors over really doing it fully. And I'm still uncovering. I'm still unpacking areas where I have a hold. A hold looks like this. Your heels dug into the ground. And then you wonder why you're not going anywhere. Your heels dug into the ground. You have to say And you'll know when you're ready because you'll be able to say, I'm ready to run with the big dogs, and it'll be just as free. There'll be no reservation. You'll be breathing normally. You won't feel like that thing in the pit of your stomach because you're serious. You have to do it. You have to be able to think and figure out, why do I think this way? Why do I feel that way? And when you ask yourself that question, it will tell you the answer. It doesn't always come automatically, instantly, but the answer will come. So here's another story. There were these twin brothers. They were born in another country, and they were inseparable. They were very, very close. They're a type of twins that they say are almost like conjoined because they can actually finish the other person's thoughts. So when it came time for them to grow up now and to go to college, they had different career paths. So one decided to go to the US, the other decided to stay home and study. He said how brutal it was because they were so close that they were used to talking and doing everything together. Now they're apart. So every Saturday at 1 o'clock, he would expect a call from his brother, his twin brother. His twin would call him at 1 o'clock. So he was like, it was all he waited for. He planned his day around getting his call at 1 o'clock. It was very expensive, so they couldn't talk that long. So he says this one, Saturday, he's prepared for his call. It's 1 o'clock. He's expecting the phone, no ring. It's 1:05, no ring. It's 1:20, no ring. It's 2 o'clock, the phone doesn't ring. Because at first he's thinking to himself, oh, maybe he's busy, maybe something happened, By 2:15, guess what happens? He has a narrative. What? The when? The why? In his mind, he says, my brother stayed home. He at least has his family around him. So I guess now he doesn't really miss me or need me anymore. I'm by myself here, in this state by myself, and I'm without my family. So it's easier for him because at least, he can get over me, but he at least has his family around me. I have no one. The brain filled in, or I'm gonna call it fear, told him the how, the what, and the why. The why, he doesn't miss you anymore. He doesn't need you. The when, he has his family. He's not by himself. So because he has that, he doesn't really need you anymore. And that's the narrative that he went on. And he just felt really dejected. The next morning, he went to go make a call and realized that his phone was off. He had knocked it off the hook. So when he calls his brother, he's not even able to say hey, my phone. His brother's like, what happened to you? You know what, you forgot to call. I tried calling you all day and I couldn't get a hold of you. What happened? His brother's upset because he's got his own narrative. Are you hearing what I'm saying about fear? I have a small activity for you today that we're going to get into. And I'm going to start it with your strongholds. So because that amygdala now has become more active, and because you have formed those dendrites, the dendrites automatically keep you rethinking about the same thing, It populates your mind with whatever that fear factor is. The more you think about it, the more you're writing that on your hard drive. And I've said this to you. For everything that you write on your hard drive that is negative, it's going to take a lot more to reverse it. What did they say? For one bad thing, you got to do 13 good it's not erase, because you can't erase what's on a hard drive. Just like I told you last night about your emotions. You can't stop them. You can stop allowing them to direct you. And as you do, guess what happens? Just like the dendrites start to fall off the tree in your brain, those dendrites, those little branches start to fall off. Similarly with your emotions, they begin to now be curbed, taking captive every thought to the obedience. Once you begin to manage your mind begins to change now Just like I explained last night about how Oprah, she talked about all the work she had to do to begin to capture her imagination. One thing that we know is your imagination is powerful. There's countless studies about when people imagine. The problem is most of our imaginations are horror movies. That's why I tell you, don't watch the movie. How many of y'all remember what I taught you on don't watch the movie? Well, we need to go back over that again because I don't see that many hands. How many of y'all remember don't watch the movie? Just that few people? Well, child, let me go back over don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie is embedded in fear. Anytime we fear something, we're afraid that it's not gonna go well. If it's a conversation we have to have with somebody and it's difficult, we're afraid to have it, we begin to imagine in our mind what we're gonna say, what they're gonna say back to us, what we're gonna do, because we're gonna see them do this and then we're gonna say that and then we're gonna tell them this, right? But what we don't realize is what we're watching is a movie, but really it's a nightmare. It's a horror story. It's a horror flick. And we're casting this person or people in the starring roles. Don't watch the movie. Because you've already set yourself up for failure because you've imagined something that's detrimental to your progress in your mind. Remember, most of the things that we fear are things that have never happened. We've never even dealt with them yet. But we have constructed them as something that's awful in our minds. In our minds. Don't watch the movie. Say it back to me. Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie, girl. Don't watch the movie. It's the same thing in your life when you're unpacking your fears. Once you start to map and see where those fear factors are, you got to stop watching the movie, which means that you need to take captive your imagination. You cannot allow your mind to go into those sorts of waters. Only things that are good. So now I'm going to pick it back up. The stronghold is a place that has been fortified so as to protect it against attack. A habitual pattern of thought built into one's life. A place where a particular cause or belief is strongly defended. So I want to drill down now. I want to talk about those strongholds. Now, a stronghold is why a lot of you all are unable to change. On a record. They can't get beyond that place. You know what a scratch record, the only thing you can do is lift up that needle and you got to put it into a new section of the record. So you have to bypass. That's what we're doing this morning. Are y'all with me? We're bypassing the damage. I want you to cut them some break because they're damaged. Somebody did something to them. They experienced a trauma. And that trauma in the amygdala has become so engrossed, so ingrained that they are unable to flip the script. So we're just going to learn this morning to pick up the needle and move it. What is the first step in being able to do that? The first step is to realize that I have that and what the steps are. So say if those were the steps that they first start to defend, they then start to point and talk about you, because now they're turning the conversation. That's why nothing ever gets solved. 67% of most arguments are never resolved. How are you going to get resolved when now you're in a wrestling match? You were just trying to say, well, baby, I just want to adjust. And now you were down there with Hulk Hogan trying to tap out, So this is what it's going to look like. You might say, when we're talking, honey, this is what you have to do. If I do it in the right tone, and if I start off, this is textbook. You see, I'm thinking about Larry right now. I got that L going. Y'all saw that? Larry, I heard you was going to take over the show today, that you was going to come in late to make a grand entrance. I heard some of y'all were calling him Larry last night, so don't even try it. Is that you, Pastor Terry? yeah. So it might be that you say, if I do all of these things correctly, then when I tell you something, if I see that you go into your routine, I'm going to say wrong reaction or wrong response. So that's something to them to say, because once they become aware of it, now they're responsible. Are you hearing me? And then you have to tell them what it is that they can do or must do at that point. Because what's happening is they're defending themselves. And the reason why they're defending themselves is because somewhere in their life, someone did something to them so horrific that they felt that they were their own defense. So you got to have mercy. But we coming after something to kill it. You heard? So we going to have mercy, but we going to kill it. Because we can't allow it to kill our relationship. Or our relationships. Because it will manifest in every relationship that we have. So we don't want that. And we want to also model for our children what a productive relational resolve should look like. See, again, I get mad because all y'all are concerned about is I love them and they love me. No. What's most important to me are the children that you're bringing into the planet and how you set them up to have a successful future. If they see how crazy your butt is acting, what is that saying to them? I heard it written somewhere, Timothy, you have the faith of your mother and your grandmother. So we understand that certain things are passed down. Faith is passed down, fear is passed down, abnormal behaviors are passed down, good behavior is passed down. And so we know that we learn more from what we see than what we are taught. Right? So my next step might be, you need to give the right response, which is, tell me focus on how I feel. Because what I just expressed to you, usually that person has an inability to be concerned about how you feel. They're so concerned about defending themselves, they can't consider you. So you might tend to feel ostracized, like your opinion doesn't matter, like you can never be heard, because they're just not going to listen to you. So maybe this next step is, once you tell them to assess, did I talk to you in the right tone? Did I, give you a positive feedback first? That they have to now tell you how what you shared might make you feel. And then the next step might be, tell me what you're going to do about it. Now remember, men, I told y'all last night, men have this one thing that they do, and then I'm going to get on y'all ladies. So men believe that if you talked about something, that it's over. And especially they put a time limit on. We talked for 2 hours. What else is there to talk about? They're like, of course that's finished. I'm going to give y'all, listen. Y'all can just come and leave an offering at my feet. Because I'm going to hook y'all up right now. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. If you don't want that heifer talking for an hour, or you just want it to be like a 10, 15-minute conversation, I'm going to give y'all the hookup. Are y'all ready? No, men, raise your hand. You know I need to be encouraged. Raise your hand, men. Y'all ready? If you will, when your wife, your girlfriend, complains about something, if you will just show her that you heard her, that's number one. So how are you going to do that? You're going to say, oh, babes, wow. You could be saying something like, I didn't know that you felt like that way, but I hear you saying, and you're repeating back so that the heifer knows that you heard her. And then the second thing that you're going to do is then you're going to tell her what you're going to do about it. Not do, what you're going to do about it. Because now you have to say, in no uncertain terms, well, you know what I'm going to do from now on, because you got to say it, because we don't want just one time. Y'all want the credit for the one time. We're not interested. We're looking for continuity. When you go to McDonald's, you want a McDonald's burger. You don't want it one time, then the next time you go, you don't know what you're going to get. Remember, we need security. So when we feel that that's going to be consistent, it makes us feel relaxed and we can feel secure. So you got to tell her what you're going to do about it. What else is there to say after that? But what happens is y'all go back and forth with the sparring. She keeps talking because she feels like you're not getting it, okay? So now, women, the next thing that y'all do is you expect for men to be divino, to read your mind, to know what you want. Y'all want all these weirdo things that they don't have the equipment to provide to you. Like you say, well, if he really loved me, he would know what I want. If he really loved me, he would want to help me around the house. If he really loved me, you know, it's like there's no connection. Or if he loved me, he would really pay attention. And when I'm talking for them 2 hours, telling him what I wanted him to do. They don't have the language centers to listen that long. You have a girlfriend for that. For your man, you give him the cliff notes because they only have so many words to use in a day. Just give him the cliff notes. I don't see nobody coming to drop my offering up here. So I'm going to pick it back up. While I was sleeping, someone sowed weeds in my field. The man said he sowed good seed in his field. But while he was sleeping, someone sowed weeds. Now, the weeds that he's talking about are weeds that are noxious. They choke out and they destroy the good crop. You came into the planet with good seed as children. And life taught you some stuff, some lessons. Some of those lessons have turned out to be poisonous because you didn't know how to manage your mind. You've been watching a lot of movies. I'm no longer watching a movie about the big dog anymore. And guess what? Nobody's bitten me. Hey, Dr. Jacquie here. I'm your how-to lady. How to do life, how to do love, and how to do you, boo. So click, like, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more to come.